Okay. So what you're going to be seeing is me modeling for you what your outline should look like. And as I create the outline model, you are going to be using that to help yourself in your interactive notebook create your own outline. Some of the information I put will be the same, some will not. I will pause periodically throughout the lesson so that you can keep up, and if you have questions while we're going, please feel free to raise your hand. Okay, so we start out with a Roman numeral 1. This is going to be our introduction paragraph, so everyone should have that. Introduction paragraph is going to be that first paragraph that has just kind of the general information to kick off the letter. So the details that are going to be included there will start with a greeting. So we're going to indent, put a capital A, and then just put greeting. And tomorrow, when we work on taking the plan and turning into a rough draft, I will help explain what a greeting will look like. So for now, just put greeting. This is where you say hello in your letter. The second detail would be letter B, capital B, and you need to put that capital B directly below the A, and this is how an outline looks. It's very organized and lined up very neatly. And you're going to explain the assignment to the person you're writing to, so they understand what prompted you to write the letter. A couple of things that you could tell them about the assignment will be details that we put in our outline, and since it's details about B, we're going to indent again to list those details. So we'll put number 1 for this first detail, and that would be 6th grade ELA, or English Language Arts class. So we're going to let them know that in that class you were doing an assignment. The second detail about the assignment, you're going to say that we are writing a friendly letter. Hopefully you're noticing that none of these are complete sentences. These are key words to just get us organized in our plan, and tomorrow we'll be putting these in nice, cohesive sentences and making it flow and sound really good. Okay, so we have our A done and our B done, where we've greeted our audience and explained the assignment. Now we're going to explain why, with this assignment, we chose the person we're writing to. So that would go straight underneath A and B with a capital C, so it should be lined up very neatly. And you should say, I chose you because. Now this is where we're going to differ. I have 3 reasons that I chose my person. You can have as few as 2, but if you want to have up to 4 or 5 ideas, you can. But you need to put your own ideas next. So we're going to go to number 1. And I will share what I'm putting in my letter, but then you need to think of your own reasons. So my first reason is that I was supposed to have sent a birthday letter, and I forgot to do it on time. So mine's going to go past fitting on 1 line, which is not perfect for an outline, but I'll show you how that looks. I was supposed to send. Now, when I have to go to the next line, I line it up right underneath where I was writing for that specific detail. I was supposed to send a birthday letter. My second detail is going to be that this person I'm writing to is one of the most kind and caring ladies that I know. Therefore, I think she really deserves to have just a spontaneous letter. And then my third reason is, for me, she has always been a true role model. And I want her to know that. She doesn't know how much she means to me, and it's about time I tell her. So I want you to take a second at this point and think about, why did you choose your person? You're going to indent underneath your C, and you're going to list numbers for your details. Like I said, you can have as few as 2 details, but if you want to go to 4 or 5, you could. It's going to make your introduction paragraph a bit longer, but if you have some real specific things you want to tell your audience about why you chose them, that's okay. When you're finished with putting your reasons you chose them, put your pencil down and wait. Alright, so I'm assuming that we are all finished with our introduction paragraph plan, and we're going to go on to our body paragraph. So we move back over to the Roman numerals, and I'm going to line that up directly below my first Roman numeral. This is Roman numeral 2, and we're going to call this the body paragraph. So you all need to do that on your paper right now too. Body paragraph. I know this whole part of the letter is called the body, but since we're doing 3 paragraphs, we're going to have an introduction paragraph, a body paragraph in the middle, and then a conclusion paragraph at the end. So what I've decided to do to organize this, and I think this is a really good format for you as well, is to first go into a few memories about that person. Remember, we're putting ourselves into their perspective. We're trying not to talk just about ourselves. So these would be memories about them, not memories about yourself. So you're indenting and you're lining your capital letters up directly below the capital letters that were above. So my A, my first detail in my body paragraph, is going to be called memories. And I would like for you to do the same. Your memories will be different from mine, but you'll still have memories. Otherwise, you wouldn't be writing to this person, because you need to know this person and have a history with them. The fewest amount of memories you can include are 2. However, you can have up to 3 or 4 if you'd like. So now that we've put that, we're going to indent and start listing just a couple of key details for those memories. So you indent over and you line up your numbers directly below the numbers above. And the first one I'm going to put is homemaker. So the lady I'm writing to is just an outstanding homemaker. She's just always been someone who cooks and bakes and everything from scratch. And she knits and crochets and she sews and she quilts and she does all of those wonderful, keeping the home just so cozy and warm. And that's kind of my second detail. So homemaker, I just remember as a child thinking that her house was lovely, cozy, and welcoming. So for me, I want to mention that these are memories I have of her. Cozy and welcoming home. The third thing that I want to list is that you have that she had a very strong faith. And for me, that was a very important piece, and I looked up to her because of that. So you're going to, right now, think of the memories you want to list, and you can list just 2, or you can list up to maybe 4 or 5 if you'd like to. So take a moment and do that, and then I will start up the video again, and we'll continue on. Put your pencil down when you're finished with A, with the memories. Okay, so our next main point in the body paragraph is going to be listed underneath capital B. That's going to be straight underneath, again, all those capital letters. This is how you do an outline. And I would like for you to list update questions. And what I mean by that is that we are going to be asking them questions to get an update and see what their life is like right now. So you're going to put some keywords underneath that about specific things you want to ask questions about. We're not listing every single question that we're going to put in the letter, just topics. So then you will indent right here, and I will show you my example of this. So for one key idea underneath questions for me, I'm going to ask her about her grandkids and her kids family is growing and I want to know how they're all doing. Now if I wanted to get really detailed, I would indent and put a little A, B, C, D here and start listing all the family members she has. But I'm probably not going to do that in this case because that'll make my outline 15 pages. So I just know I know their names and I will ask about them in the letter. So my next key point to put in here to remind me of what questions to write when we do this tomorrow is about her trips. So I know she takes a lot of trips with her husband, and I want to ask maybe what her favorite trips were, or what trip she would recommend when I retire as a teacher, when I finish teaching. So third key point I'm going to put is what pets she has now, because I specifically remember what pets she had, and I know she has one German Shepherd, but I thought she had more than that. And just how life is with her pets, because her pets were always very important when I was little and knew her. And finally, I know her husband just had a stroke, and I want to ask how Harry is doing. And he, I know he's gotten way better, but I want to hear specifics. So those are my key points to remind me of what kinds of questions to ask. I want you to have at least 2 listed there. If you want to list more than that, you can. I wouldn't list past probably 4 or 5. So take a minute and fill in your question keywords that are going to help you remember tomorrow when you're writing what kinds of question topics you want to talk about. Put your pencil down when you're finished, and then we'll move on. All right. So it doesn't look very big, but these pieces we've written down are going to really make for a nice solid size body paragraph. And you'll see that tomorrow when we're putting that draft together. Right now we're ready to move on in our outline to our conclusion. So now we go back over to Roman numeral 3, which again, you line up with the other 2 Roman numerals. So you can see how nice and neat that looks. And we're going to all write conclusion paragraph. Underneath conclusion paragraph, you are going to come up with a couple of things you want to touch base on at the end. A couple goodbye messages. So, one of the things you could put is maybe a request for pictures. Or for me, I'm actually going to comment on how I love her pictures on Facebook. If you see them in social media, you could do the same. But if you don't get to see pictures, maybe you could ask them to send a picture. So don't write down Facebook unless you have the same comment I do, where I want to compliment her on the great pictures she always posts on Facebook to keep me up to date. For you, you might just put pictures request or pictures ask for. Okay. If you have specific things you want to mention about pictures or whatever topic you've chosen to put here, you could list them under here. Like I specifically want to compliment her on family, pictures, and on comments, posts I should say. I'm going to say family and trips because they kind of go hand in hand. And I'm going to say her beliefs around a lot of different life topics. So again, you might be asking for pictures and you might list a couple of people or animals or houses or whatever you want pictures of. And finally, as I told you all, you want to request that they write you back. So if you want to put your write back comment in your PS, then here you're going to just put some kind of goodbye. But I want to go ahead and put my request for her to write back here. And then I'm going to put a third letter that is just a goodbye. Again, if you don't want to put your write back here, you could just have an A and a B, and your goodbye could be your B. If you plan to do a PS, I highly recommend that you go on and make a note at the bottom of what you're going to put in your PS. Doesn't necessarily have to be in your outline format. So as you can see, we now have a very organized piece here that lists lots of details on how we're going to put together this great 3-paragraph body for our friendly letter when we put this together tomorrow. So great job. I'm excited to see how the letter goes tomorrow. If you haven't already done it, make sure you fill out your Google form with the addresses and get those stamps turned in. All right, thanks.